Have you ever wondered what it is that makes certain people so successful in the world? Let's explore this a little bit further in this video. In order to answer the question, what it is that makes a person successful, we should start first by defining what success is. After all, this can mean different things to different people. Is a successful person, for example, a person that has made a lot of money during their lifetime, launched a billion-dollar business, or gained fame, or achieved athletic gold during the Olympics? Most people that grew up had some sort of role model that he or she wanted to become and considered successful. But as time went by, the person changed, and so it did at times the role model as well. So perhaps success is about setting specific goals that make you happy, accomplishing them, and setting new ones. It's a continuous journey and a very personal one for each individual. Having stated that, let's look at some people that have reached their set goals over time and their factors or behaviors that got them there and see if there's some commonality. Let's start off with Oprah Winfrey. Winfrey was born into poverty in rural Mississippi, had several jobs as a radio host, but by the mid-90s ran her own television show named The Oprah Winfrey Show, who spearheaded her to fame and fortune. According to Wikipedia, her net worth was estimated to be around $2.7 billion as of October 2019. In some articles and interviews, she mentioned that as part of her daily routine, she wakes up at 6 a.m. without an alarm and thinks by herself, "Oh, I'm alive, thank you." Which is interesting, as I don't think a lot of people think like that when they get up, so we tend to go into our daily grind. I for sure don't. She then has her chai tea or cappuccino, followed by a workout on her elliptical machine and some additional meditation in the rest of the morning. In the evening, she likes to read a book, and just before she goes to bed, she writes things that she was grateful about or gave her great pleasure. The letter may actually have a scientific backing, as a study published in 2006 in Behavior Research and Therapy found that among Vietnam War veterans, lower levels of post-traumatic stress disorders, PTSD, existed for those with higher levels of gratitude than those without. I'll leave a link for more details in the description. It appears that there were also some resilience benefits following the terrorist attacks on September 11th related to gratitude and published in 2003 in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. I guess my takeaway here is that it's important that one has to take care of the physical and mental health and be grateful about what they have, rather than focusing on what they don't, to boost morale, drive, and overall happiness in order to go through this journey towards success. Let's look at another case. Bill Gates was born in 1955 and the co-founder of the Microsoft Corporation that he set up together with Paul Allen in 1975. In the early 80s, Gates and Allen created for IBM an operating system called PC-DOS, for which he received a royalty for each computer running the software. By 1987, Gates was listed as billionaire in Forbes magazine's 400 richest people in America and was the world's richest person between 1995 and 2009, with the exception of 1 year. His net worth was estimated to be $105.6 billion as of May 2020. Some of the outlooks that Gates have and contributed to his success are the following. Time is valuable. Another way to put it is, time is money. This has to do with focusing on activities that are meaningful and important, instead of wasting too much time on social invitations or other distractions and requests for your time. Gates at one point said, "No matter how much money you have, you can't buy more time." and he suggested to cut down on time-wasting activities. This also applied to attending or setting up meetings that usually do not result in any meaningful outcomes. Listen to feedback and criticism. Gates sees everyday learning as a very valuable tool to get where you are, and in his world, it was the customers he was dealing with. In his book, Business at the Speed of Thought, Gates says, your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. I personally also think it's important who you take feedback or criticism from by choosing a person who you trust and is knowledgeable and willing to give constructive feedback. Having perhaps a mentor in your life may be the person who can change your life. Have an optimistic view. No doubt, Gates has faced a lot of challenges in his endeavors to achieve his goals, but without any form of optimism, he wouldn't have started a company or persisted with his visions and ideas to realize them. In one of his speeches, he once said, optimism is often dismissed as false hope, but there is also false hopelessness. Having a goal and an ability to focus on it. Gates always had a vision from the moment he and Paul Allen founded Microsoft, which led to the creation of measurable goals. Then he worked to achieve that goal and was patient. Andy Braderman, a college roommate of Gates, mentioned he would focus on something and really stick with it. He had the determination to master whatever it was he was doing, and ex-girlfriends described him as being extremely focused and intolerant of distractions. He didn't own a television and had even dismantled his car radio. Learn from mistakes. Gates' attitude towards mistakes is that you need to learn from them, owe up to them, and stop blaming others. Gates mentioned in 2019 that he regretted he mismanaged the opportunity for Microsoft to be the one and only non-Apple platform for mobile phones, for which the honor went to Google with their Android devices in 2008. He said, there's room for exactly one non-Apple operating system. And what's that worth? $400 billion that would be transferred from Company G to Company M. Regarding success, Gates is known for saying, success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. I think the lesson learned here is that with success, you feel that you don't have to learn anymore and are not eager to do so, while mistakes not only gives you opportunity to better yourself and therefore a path of growth, but also keeps you grounded at the same time. The next example I want to tackle is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger was born in 1947 in Austria and won the Mr. Universe title at age 20, became the governor of California in 2003, which he served until 2011, and is of course very well known as the big Hollywood film icon from 1982 onwards, when he started his acting career in Conan the Barbarian and his later success with the Terminator franchise, among others. In some of the interviews, Schwarzenegger mentioned that he followed some basic rules in his life to become successful. Have a vision and trust in yourself. From a young age, Schwarzenegger had his goal set to become Mr. Universe and moved to the US, despite his parents having other ideas for him, like becoming a police officer and get married with an Austrian girl named Heidi. He had full confidence in himself and defined success in measurable goals. As a bodybuilder, he wanted big arms and decided that his arms needed to be 17 inches or greater, and ended up with 17.25 inches. For his business, he wanted to make 6 figures, and so he worked until he earned that much and more. Now success means building a platform for him to help others. Enjoy the road to success. Schwarzenegger realized early on that the happiness can not only come from accomplishing your goal, as many of the goals can take a long time to achieve and a lot of hard work. So what it comes down to, according to him, is appreciating the steps to take you there and just enjoying the moment. Don't go with the norm. Schwarzenegger in his lifetime tried to go against the norm and people's attempts to put him in a box. When he was 15 years old, he was told that it was impossible for him to become a champion bodybuilder. They said, "It's an American sport. In Austria, you can be a ski, cycling, or maybe track and field champion, but you cannot be a bodybuilding champion." He proved them wrong. Later on, people told him that he couldn't become an actor because of his accent. He took acting classes, accent removal lessons, and English classes. He worked hard and became a leading man and broke that rule. Don't be afraid to fail. In order to reach your goals, you sometimes have to take risks. He once said, if you have a 400-pound bench press and want to bench 420, but you're afraid to fail, then you'll never even try the 420. Relax. Don't be afraid. Work hard. For Schwarzenegger, there's always enough time in the day to do things. In an interview, he mentioned, "I hate when people say, I don't have enough time to work out. That's crazy to me. You have 24 hours in a day, sleep 6 hours, and you have 18 hours left. Do your job, which probably takes 8 to 10 hours, and you have at least 10 hours left. You're telling me you can't work out in that time?" He's also a firm believer of hard work to reach your goals. No one has ever been successful without working hard. There are no shortcuts. Work like hell and you're gonna make it. As you can see from these examples, despite some of the differences in the way they became successful, there are some similarities. It turns out that there are some other ones, but they've taken the most important ones and interpreted them as the following guidelines. Have a vision and set a goal. I think this is the most important one, as all successful people had a vision and associated goals in their lives. All the tasks that they performed on a daily basis culminated to these goals and indirectly the vision. The goals should also be measurable, as Schwarzenegger and Gates described, so that you can track where you stand. Have a mentor in your life. Having someone that can help you in achieving that goal, or perhaps help you define it early on in your career, but later on as well, is very valuable in fast-tracking some of the steps that you need to take in getting to that goal. This is related to that feedback and constructive criticism that you need in order to make the right decisions. Mentors can be that trusted source that you need in order to get a step ahead. Don't follow the sheep herd. First off, we are not sheep, and therefore should not blindly follow others or live by their rules. None of the people that really made it big in one way or the other put themselves in a corner or box that was defined by others. They followed their own vision and were willing to go against the grain. Be valuable with time. This is not about working each day until 11 p.m. and getting up at 3 a.m. until eventually you run yourself into the ground. It's about treating time as a commodity and being smart about how you consume it. That means you may have to make choices and priorities about what you do and what you are going to say no to. There is, however, 24 hours in a day, and with proper time management, you will still be able to plan some non-goal related activities. The point is, don't engage in too many time-wasting activities, as you only have one life. Take calculated risks. Almost all successful people had to make certain decisions that involved a certain risk of failure or feeling of discomfort, as it may have put them in a zone they were not familiar with, the so-called unfamiliar territory. At times, this can be literally the case if, for example, you're contemplating a move to a new country perhaps. In other cases, it can mean leaving your comfortable position at a certain company for an entrepreneurial move. Don't be afraid to fail. As part of these risks that successful people have taken, there were also numerous examples in which they failed. Some of the earlier businesses that Gates created were never a success. But the important thing here is that they learned from their mistakes and were not put off by it to try again. Be laser focused. It's very important that as part of this journey to reaching your goals, you're very focused in executing the steps necessary to do so. Avoid unnecessary distractions. Think about what you're doing, and if necessary, try to lock yourself up in a room if that's what it takes to get your mind to where you need to be. Stay in good mental and physical health. In order to be focused and dedicate most of your time in reaching your goals, it should not come as a surprise that you have to be in good physical and mental health. Having a good workout routine is essential, and mental health exercises could include something like yoga or other meditation routines. Read a lot. Most successful people read a lot. This may require a bit of elaboration, as I don't think it's the latest gossip magazine or romance novels that is being referred to here. Though it's fine if you read them, most successful people take reading as an opportunity to enrich themselves with new knowledge or take note of new opportunities in the world or inspire themselves with autobiographies of certain world leaders. So I hope this video gave you something to think about. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button.